The Survivor Specialist Phil and Will are back, and today we are recapping episode number 7 of Survivor 50. 14-person tribal council, one person immune, one person going home. What a concept that is. Thank you to everybody who stuck with Will and Blake last week as they just ranted. I mean, Will went on an all-timer to start that episode last week you almost hit 10 minutes. Blake was cheering you on. Normally, Blake, if you ever listen to our Patreon podcast, Blake is like, why is Will still talking? I want to talk. And then all of a sudden last week, I hear Blake going, Will, you got 30 more seconds. Come on, man. You can hit 10 minutes. Go, go, go. That was a hell of a rant. But Will, I got to imagine the mood is definitely different tonight for you coming out of this episode. No, I mean, this was about what you could ask for from a true merge episode of Survivor.
I wish I could agree. Obviously, this was better than last week, but I don't know what. It's tough to like put my finger on it. I think part of me is like still feeling like I wanted to look at the blood moon and be like, this is an isolated incident that I did not like. Let's move on to the next episode. Let's have fun with these characters. It's season 50. Let's celebrate it. Let's be positive here on the podcast after ranting so long negatively last week. But I don't know. I felt I almost like, you know, when you're watching a movie and there's a scene that like, you're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like the character would never do that. Or there's a plot hole, or there's just like something that rubs you the wrong way. And you're like, that kind of took me out of the rest of the movie. And like, ever since that point, like it might be a good ending. It might be good, but like, I just don't really, I don't really F with this movie anymore. Like, I'm kind of worried that that's what the blood moon is going to do to Survivor 50 for me. And I'm not saying it's like completely unsalvageable, but I still feel the effects. Like I don't know. I obviously don't want to just be like, this episode didn't really do much for me, but I didn't do a lot for me. I have seen a little bit here in the chat that like there are quite a few people saying great episode, bounce back. This was fun. We're, here we go. But like, are you just saying that because it wasn't a dumb production twist that eliminated 3 people? Like if we had gotten this episode last week instead, I think we're going, this is a pretty ho-hum episode. And not that they did anything wrong. And again, I think it might be more my like personal feelings that I have lost so much faith in the season. And when you look at an image of a Survivor season, I don't care. Like if you just see like Tony with like an orange buff on the Bronze Tribe, you're like, oh, that's Cagayan, and all these feelings muster up. And I just have all these images and thoughts and love. And I think when I see just like the image of like this yellow buff and it's like Ozzy and Rizzo, I'm just going like, blood moon, go, hate it. You ruined the great season. Like I just don't, it's hard for me now to come back from it. That's where I'm at, honestly. And it's sad.
I think that's crazy. Tom.
Good. I'm glad you don't sit here and go, I completely agree. And we just, yeah.
This I'm not mad at anything they
did. Yeah, you had fun. I don't know. It just feels off to me.
We got every character doing what we wanted to do. And look, if you're going to be turned off by the season now because of the blood moon, that's your prerogative. Like, I'm not going to tell you shouldn't be. I mean,
it's
Jeff
deserves, it's a natural feeling.
But Jeff deserves to lose some of the fan base for that decision. He really does. So like, I'm not going to tell anybody, grow up, you guys are children, whatever. I mean, if you want to kind of be out on the season after that, I'm totally in agreement with you. I mean, I always rank Pearl Islands lower than most people just because I think the Outcast twist is dumb. So I think that's totally fair. For me, though, this episode was everything I wanted. We had Coach doing a bunch of shit, being a weirdo. That's exactly what I want from season 50. D went home. I'm happy D went home. Like, I am glad to see D go as a winner, go out in this situation. I feel like D was getting, D was so used to Survivor things going right for her. It didn't go right for her here. And I like that she tried to scramble at Tribal. I thought it was D the entire time. Of course, I'm getting a little nervous because I root so hard for Coach. But we got what we wanted there. We got Rizzo trying to calm him down. We got Jonathan and D going at it. And then Jonathan saying, I kind of pushed her buttons. We have Coach saying to Devins, don't tell the middle people, when Devins is in the middle and Rizzo's having to explain to Coach why you're so bad at this game right now. Like, stop doing that. Christian with the information, finding out that D is telling everybody about idols and stuff. this is what I want from Survivor. They're playing the game, talking about the vote split, and people saying, I want to vote for D. I love how many people wanted to vote D out of the game. And it, like with somebody like Chrissy, it did feel personal. I was fine with the challenge, a big physical challenge for reward. I like if all 14 competed in immunity, but I'll take 7 competing for 1 immunity. This is Survivor. Like, this is what Survivor is supposed to be. And people can complain that it was a predictable boot or whatever. I always say a great Survivor episode does not need a mind-blowing vote. That's what Jeff thinks. And that's why Survivor has gotten progressively worse, because the editors have forgotten how to edit a show when the vote isn't shocking. Tonight, they just relied on the characters, and the characters delivered. And I was all about this episode for sure. I am excited to watch the final 13 people play this game and figure it all out. So I have no complaints, no qualms. I liked this episode a lot. Stephanie, shoulder, great, whatever. Ozzy winning immunity. I'm back, man. I'm in my prime. I'm watching Coach be a fool. I love that. I'm in completely. And D went home. My best case scenario for this final 14 was either D or Tiffany going home tonight. And that's not personal against them. It's just they, to me, are not at the level of these other players in my heart. And I think Jonathan has brought it more than D and than Tiffany this season, although Tiffany's starting to work her way up. Joe, same thing. Like, I'd rather watch that kind of messiness and all of that. So yeah, I'm into it. I liked it, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Everything you said. Again, like, I don't really have many nits to pick here. Maybe the journey is probably where most of those are. But yeah, I think maybe it's just the overall, like, it's the bad taste in my mouth. Like, you could like taste a food you don't like and then have a bite of your favorite food. I could, have a bottle full of mustard and pickles, 2 things I really don't like, and then take a bite of a cheesesteak, and I'm gonna be like, did that taste good? I'll be like, no, I still taste the mustard and pickles. Like, it doesn't taste good to me. D going home, good. I honestly, it got to the point for me though. I was like rooting for Coach to go, which is crazy.
No, you weren't. That's just incorrect. That's just not.
Like, I wanted something to happen though. I felt like it was just a very meandering.
It did happen. Coach Wade orchestrated the vote out of the final winner from the new era who was left in the game. Coach Wade. Something did happen.
Yeah, no, I just felt like it was kind of, and you know what? Maybe to Jeff's credit, every time we see kind of large numbers, it does feel like it is I guess it's been called a dog pile. That's how it's been classified. And so maybe there's something like, maybe we should have split into smaller groups randomly or something, to really spice this up.
This is like, Will, I'm starting to question you as a person. Zach says, Will, how can you root for Coach to go right as he starts to go insane? I mean, Coach is finally here. We watched 6 episodes of Coach not even being around. He was in the premiere and then he disappeared. And Coach is back, baby. Like, this is what I want.
Yeah. Okay. This might be it too, because like, I'm a very big Coach fan. I picked Coach to win this season. And one of the very few casting decisions that I was like fully like, yes, Coach, season 50, that lines up. That makes a lot of sense. And there was some great Coach stuff tonight. Don't get me wrong. But part of me was like, okay, Coach has done this honor and integrity story about how he's going to play a certain way, truthfully and with honesty. And then he's gotten to final 3 and basically lost because he wouldn't own up that he's playing Survivor. And if he had owned up and said, you know what? I tricked all of you. I said honor and integrity so I could get to the final 3. That was BS. Give me your vote. I outplayed you. And part of me, and why I picked Coach Wins, is saying we could see kind of what another version of Coach looks like. What does Coach version 4 look like? Would he learn from his past mistakes? And I just kind of feel let down that and I know Coach has always been highly delusional, but it's almost leaning to like a shtick or like a bit at this point. And I'm not getting like the authentic Coach crazy. Like, the haikus, I guess, are funny, but I just, the part of me is feeling like, is Coach just out there to get screen time at this point, and he's never going to actually try to win and play Survivor the correct way? And maybe that's why I'm not as like, oh my God, Coach is being crazy again, where it's like, I wanted to see an evolution of Coach, and I feel like we're devolving, and I thought maybe he could learn. And I'm a big fan of Coach, but I don't know. I would be surprised if I'm like the only one who watched this and felt this is a little bit of a put on and a little shticky here. So that's also I don't want to just bring down the mood over and over, but like
that's
these
what
are
you
what
do.
I'm
It
feeling.
makes sense. You're just gonna.
You're usually the most negative one, okay? It's like
I give credit where it's due. You don't even give credit where it's due. You give credit just because you feel bad. That's the difference here between the two of us. You're like the guy who everybody got a 0 on the test, so I'll give you all 50 points extra credit. Like, that's
I don't know
you.
what kind of
I
don't know what you're
That's you. I want to throw this one up because holy shit. Cody Brayman,
wow.
This could still be because of last episode, but has anyone else lost total faith in this season? This whole episode we were lied to. It was always D. It's not a live tribal at all. This whole episode felt fake to me. God forbid we lie in Survivor. But I will say, D and Cody, I appreciate this very much. I'm going to leave this up for a second so everybody looks at the number that's right there. Kyle 99 over here. Or Savannah 99. What am I talking about? The thing for me is, I don't think we were ever meant to feel like it was a real live tribal. That was Dee's approach to this tribal. Dee knew she was going home, so she thought her only move was to convince everybody at tribal council, I have the numbers, let's get rid of coach. I appreciate that Dee tried to make the move and cause a little chaos there, because clearly she wasn't able to cause any chaos over at the beach. And so this was her spot where she could cause it. I don't think production ever wanted us to think this was a real live tribal. I think that Dee just knew she had to throw a Hail Mary. This was her Hail Mary. It didn't work. She plays the safe, not safe. Essentially what she was trying to do, it felt like to me, was not get enough votes off of her to survive because she knew she was screwed. That's why she played her shot in the dark. She was trying to get enough people to vote for coach so that if her shot in the dark hit, Tiffany stays in the game and coach goes home. And I got to give credit to Dee because I think Dee played as hard as she could. She did everything she could. And I understand what people are saying here. If you feel like the production team was trying to make that feel like a live tribal, I don't think they were. I think Dee just tried to make a live tribal happen because she knew she had nothing else going for her. So that's the one thing I'll say. And I'm not going to say the season's over for me because we've seen really bad episodes of Survivor and we've seen seasons get better after that. Tonight, this is what I wanted from Survivor 50 and I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's over. I'm saying it's like trending that way. Or maybe I just need some distance from the blood moon. Like the episode after we're not going to cure, all the issues that twist brought with one episode, especially one that I thought, like, again, not that I like hated it or disliked it, didn't like do anything crazy for me. Yeah, the live tribal thing, it's like that's the only story they could tell. I mean, Dee has a confessional and I think goes up to a few people saying, look, I'm going to try to flip as many votes on the coach as possible. We saw her talking with Emily, I think Devins, Christian, Aubrey before the vote saying, could we do coach? Can we rally enough to get coach? And, they are splitting a vote. It is 7-4. And if you are peeling some of those people in the 7, if you get, 2 or 3 of those people to write coach instead of Dee, then this is a legitimate flip onto coach. It never felt like that was happening. And then really when Dee played her shot in the dark, you're like, oh, okay, she knows she doesn't have
she's done. Yeah, that's when I knew it was over for sure.
Yeah.
She's playing her shot in the dark. She's not wasting a vote there if she actually thinks she has 4 or 5. There's no way. But look, Dee's the mayor of Ponderosa now. I'm okay with her being gone.
I'm okay with Dee going home again. Like, yeah. I really don't think winners had any place on this season. I don't think it made sense to put 3 new era winners and no old school winners. It just didn't. Like, why are we doing this? We're just gonna we're gonna just immediately isolate 3 people for already have winning the game, and that's gonna become a storyline that they're gonna be a threat. So it's like, okay, Dee's gone, so we can like get rid of that. She probably didn't have a chance to get to the end and win anyway. So yeah, let's see where it goes. But yeah,
I'll just get Blake for the Wednesday night podcast. You come on with me. We'll get some old school people to talk on the predictions episodes. You can set your alarm, write it on your calendar that you don't have, and we can go from there.
Why can't I feel how I feel? Phil always says, like, you know what? This podcast is my podcast, and I'm just going to say how I feel. I don't do it for clicks. I don't do it for numbers. I'm just going to be honest and tell you how I feel. Like, if I'm feeling this during the episode, it's like are my feelings incorrect? Like,
no,
I don't know.
Here's what you're incorrect about. You clearly just love Genevieve more than you ever realized. And you're so smitten that no woman, no season, no anything will ever come close now that Genevieve's gone. And I can grow up and be an adult and be okay with the fact that I lost Colby last week. But I think you're just hurting, man. I think you're hurting, and I think you're being a little bit of a crybaby, and that's okay.
You know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just heartbroken, and I need to go eat my bowl of ice cream
You
for a couple
do.
of
I don't
weeks.
think you ate enough this week. I think you're suffering, and I feel for you. I do, because I cried during Colby's exit last week. I talked about that, Will, not to you, but like I'm sitting there. I was a couple beers and a couple whiskeys deep watching it. My wife's like rubbing my arm because I'm like crying watching Colby go. But that was like 9-year-old me watching like somebody who I really enjoyed on TV go out of the game. And I feel like with with Genevieve also, like if you're loving Genevieve, I mean, she may be the most screwed player in the history of Survivor. Maybe we do that as a draft over the summer of like who's the most screwed on a season. And I feel like it was very, very bad. But I don't know. Like last week, I rewatched the episode, and I think what was missing last week is that the Blood
Strategy,
Moon was so terrible.
story,
Well,
relationship.
the Camilla Jonathan Chrissy thing was amazing. That actually hits a lot better the second time when you like get over the fact of the Blood Moon. But I think that what was missing is the characters are so much more compelling than what we've seen in so long. And I know that's because they put together an all-star cast, but this was a questionable all-star cast at best. But the characters themselves are so much better at the storytelling aspect. They're so much more enjoyable to watch than what we have seen throughout the new era as a whole. Like, I want to hear from all 14 people tonight. I wanted to hear from all 17 people last week, and we did hear from all 17 people. Now, it was totally ruined by this twist that Jeff thinks was a great idea, and it wasn't. But at the same time, I'm enjoying watching all 17 of these people. I haven't enjoyed 17 people on a season in a very, very, very long time. So I think that's why I'm a little bit more positive. I hated the Blood Moon twist as much as anybody last week. I thought it was super, super, super stupid. But I feel like when I'm watching the characters be themselves, I was fine with Steph on the journey. And I know we'll get into the journey, and there's a couple other super chats I want to get to here. We'll get into the journey and all these different things. But as long as the players are being who they are, I'm going to be entertained, because that's what the type of Survivor I like. Like the strategy element of Survivor does not matter to me as much as the characters. And I get last week, the whole game was blown up by one of the dumbest production twists of all time. But like, I feel like the show rebounded well.
I don't, it's not even like the specific, like, oh, we lost Genevieve and that's why. It's like the matter we lost. Even if like the 3 players last week were like Joe, Tiffany, and D, let's say.
Oh, you would have been so happy. You would have been like, hell yeah,
I
Blood
still
Moon.
would have been like, this
Blood
is
Moon t-shirt.
I would have still been like, this just taints. This is like, it's like ruins this, like really does. Like it's not because of one particular person going home. I just want, like, I think it has taken the win out of the sales. And I think, and I said this last week, I was really high on the pre-merge. Like I was really, really loving it. I was just so excited I was getting so excited for Wednesday nights, which I hadn't been. And then, yeah, I mean, we have some people hopping in. I feel what Will.
There's a lot of people who feel like you. That's
like,
fine.
it's just, I can't just come in and be like, you know what, we're back. I love the episode. Like, look, there's things to like. There's some funny scenes, but I don't know. I can't just sit here and be like, oh, we're back, baby. Blood Moon's in the past. Like, I still feel it.
Where was the comment from St. Cliffo? I'd buy that t-shirt if those players had gone. Here's Zach. This is just further proof that Will is always results-based and claims not to be. These are fun, man.
Because I remember hating on season 49 when they did 3 groups of 4 before the merge, and I said, this is terrible. And then what? Shannon gets voted out, and we kept Sage, and it was a good vote, a really good episode. Yeah. And I said, just because we got a good result does not mean that this is a good twist. This is not something they should do again.
Wait, can I ask if this changes your opinion on the episode? Chris, 0 confessional episode for Joe tonight. The only one. Will, I mean, this is a dream for you. Like, Coach, big episode. Joe, nothing. I mean,
I am actually loving that Joe is now like the one to slam dunk on in Tribal. That's like becoming his role. He says some either very straightforward, cliche, boring answer, or gives an analogy that doesn't make sense. And then somebody just goes like Sari was like, a firehouse. Yeah, you have like a fire captain who tells you what to do. This is Survivor. There's no one in charge of anyone here. It's way different. And he's like, well, we work together as a team. And it's like, wait, we're in the individual post-match part. Like, what? Like, it just didn't. And even if there was some truth to it, the way the edit keeps going to Joe for his Tribal responses, like, I don't think they're doing it for like oh, this is a really insightful, interesting thing. I think they're kind of doing it for someone to respond to and be like, no, that's not how this works. Like, this has been happening all season. I'm pretty sure this
It
happened
has.
maybe in the premiere.
I also loved his thing at the end, though, of like, I apologize for ever bringing this up. I will never make a Firehouse reference again. I thought that was funny because, like, Joe on his season, I felt like he'd get away with it a little bit more.
He was the
because his
star,
cast
so he was the
fell in
one he
love
could
with
do no
him, yeah.
wrong. Now you got Sari being like, dude, your analogies of travel suck, bro. Like, you can't get up off the couch and make bad analogies. Come on.
It's like doing a podcast with Blake where I know he's going to agree with everything I say, and then I have to come on and do a podcast with Will, and he pushes back a little bit. It's like that's what Joe is going through right now. He really is. Like, he's going through that. Oh no, not everybody's just.
I'm Sari in this scenario, so I will take it.
You're going to lose. That's for sure. Kay Bonilla, coach, annoying everyone at the beach, but giving us TV gold, chef's kiss. That's what I was saying. We also have Ryder 2800 with his Roger Rabbit photo. Rizzo feels like he wrote a Survivor fan fiction because his closest allies are Sari and Ozzy. Now he's just Tyson in Heroes versus Villains. But coach, that was great. I really enjoyed that. I mean, dude, is Rizzo the favorite right now?
I don't think he's the favorite. Maybe he's the fan favorite. He's not the favorite to win. I think we have had some conversations about this. I think no one's seeing him play. Maybe it's not somebody you want to vote for if you haven't seen his first game. Like, is he a crazy, more character-driven casting choice and not a gameplay casting choice? And you might not feel good about voting for him when you haven't seen 49 and his age and his antics. Like, I just don't know. Like, I just don't know if like Sari and D and Coach and Stephanie, some of the older old school players are just going to be like, yeah. Or like D, who's a winner, be like, yeah, Rizzo, you got my vote. Like, I don't know. I feel like Rizzo,
only thing holding him back.
I know. I think he's doing incredibly well. Like,
yeah.
I think if he gets to the end and doesn't win, we could be looking at a Charlie Kenzie scenario. But like, I would be very surprised if Rizzo was able to get the jury votes. It would just surprise me with this cast being so old school and skewing just older in age. It's an uphill battle for Rizzo. I would love to see, honestly, I'm loving Rizzo this season. I really, really am. I mean, I didn't want to see that many new school people, new era people. And I didn't need to see people from like 48, 49 that we just saw play. Like, you know,
why not 47?
One person. Yeah. 47 is like where I draw the line.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah. But yeah, I still don't think Rizzo's winning.
It's crazy because as I'm watching this episode, I'm sitting there saying to myself, Rizzo is playing the perfect game for who Rizzo is, for what Rizzo needs to do. And I don't think he can win. And I think that's a danger to anybody who says, should I come back and play a second season in a row? We watched Russell Hantz go out and play season 20 after 19 and get to the end and get 0 votes because he just was crazy and also, you know, just like lost it. I mean, he played 78 days and like 85. It was insane. And then you have Amanda Kimmel come back right after China and not realize her mistakes and lose. And Amanda Kimmel, you know, is a hero. Like, Amanda Kimmel could have gotten the votes at the end, but just did not know how to pitch her game and did not realize what she needed to say to the jury. And I think that when you play these back-to-back games, Rizzo right now wouldn't make the Amanda Kimmel mistake at Final Tribal. I think he would know what to pitch because he's such a student of the game. He wouldn't make the Russell mistake because he's not just walking around being mean to people. Like, Russell's outright mean to people in Heroes versus Villains. And yet, I still don't think he can win the game just because he is so new. And I think there's that legendary status. D said it tonight. I'm going to vote for the player who played the best because I want this to be the best season ever. And I think that that's in people's minds of, we want this to be legendary. We want it to be Tony coming out of Winners at War. We want it to be Jeremy coming out of Second Chance. We don't want to be Amber coming out of All Stars. And even Sarah Lucina, to an extent, coming out of Game Changer. She plays an amazing game. There's no denying it. But coming into that season, it wasn't like, oh my God, Sarah Lucina, legend. You had Sari, Ozzy, Aubrey coming off of her loss in Korong. You had so many big names on that season. Sarah wasn't who people were looking at. So I do think that it's pretty unbelievable how well Rizzo is playing. And I think he is playing literally the perfect game for somebody in his situation. And he can't win. I agree. I don't think he could win.
Yeah, I mean, he probably has to sit next to a pretty specific combination of people. Like, or do something. Like, if he does something crazy that's like, holy Rizzo, how did you pull that move off? But him having little private one-on-ones and having, building trust by sharing information, that's all good. And he can play a fantastic social game doing that. I don't know if that is going to get enough jury votes in his favor.
I think if he were to sit next to two new era players, he could win, like Joe and Tiff, Joe and Emily, Emily and Tiff. I think he could win that.
I think he could. Again, that's a pretty thread in the needle there. Still 13 people left.
Yeah. And who knows what we're going with next week. I'm sure. Will, this is also where I was hoping you'd be more positive, because I'm sure next week you're about to just drop nukes all over the place. It's going to be just hell on earth with this split. I think the episode is literally called like double
trouble.
Yeah. Like it's a definite double boot next week. And I don't know how they're going to break that up. So we got to take the positive. And
I've been saying for a while that they have to do an unmerge at some point.
Could it be at 13? Why do it at an even number when you can make it an odd number and ruin somebody's game for no reason?
Well, you could just put someone on exile. You could put Ozzy on exile.
Yeah, there you go. James Barber, not going to lie, Ozzy set up pretty well to go far. Yeah, because he just keeps going to exile at the most important times.
Yeah, I think an unmerge, instead of splitting the group into two tribals, and keeping the same buff, you just do the same twist they always do in the new era, but you put them on different beaches and they spend the night, and you change the buff color. That's the only thing you need to do differently, and then you can call it the unmerge.
The unmerge. Jeff will call it the unmerge and make everybody vote together.
Yeah, no, he might. That's the thing. At least we had one merge vote here with everybody going to tribal, so now that we can officially unmerge if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Especially fans voted for a lot of twists.
You didn't react to it, but I read that. I sent that to you and Blake. What? It was the actual phrasing of the question was, I love twists, bring them on. I don't like twists, keep them rare. Those were our two options last year. And somehow by saying I love twists, bring them on, that meant like ruin the game of three of my favorite players as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, and I talked about this last week. It's like, we voted yes twists. We never voted like which twist.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't vote. If we could vote on Blood Moon, I'm sure most people would vote no.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's voting for that to come back again. Cody Brayman hit with this one. Redemption or 50, Phil. I've never watched AU Survivor, but this season has been so incredible. I am loving this season of AU Survivor. The biggest problem is Final Four suck. Don't care who wins at all. The boot order was super electric, and then all of a sudden the boot order just went to hell. And that's the biggest downfall is now I have to watch 3 episodes of Survivor next week, not caring who wins.
Wait, there's 3 episodes left at final.
They do 3 episodes every week. I think one of the episodes is a reunion next week. But who knows?
3 episodes at Final Four is crazy.
I mean, I'm sure Australian Survivor will find a way. They always do. Let's go over here. Kay Bonilla never crossed Jonathan Young. He's playing different. Will, what did you think about Jonathan's approach in this episode, coming off the blind side of Camilla and people coming at him?
I love this from Jonathan. Like, I like that because last time we saw Jonathan, he would get in these spats with Lindsay, and it felt very like he was riled up. He was angered. And maybe he's, a little revisionist history here, but he tells us I was trying to rile up D and like getting mad and more mad, but while staying calm. And it was, at least to me, it looked like that was truthful, that Jonathan was trying to poke at D's buttons and to get her angry and upset and maybe paint a target on her back as somebody who, is unstable or someone that you don't want to work with. Someone also that is a winner. And if you can just shine light, like, look, we got a Survivor winner still on this post-merge season 50 tribe. Then, yeah, this is maybe one of the first social moves we've seen by Jonathan. I think we saw a strategic move last week in lying and blindsiding, but this seemed to be like, I'm going to like socially manipulate D in a conversation, and it seemed to work. So this is a different side of Jonathan. He's been saying this all season that that's what he wants to do, and that's what we got. I liked it. Is that good for you, Phil?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying Jonathan. I've been enjoying. No, I like that. I mean, I've been really, really, really enjoying Jonathan's game on this season. I think he learned a lot from his first time. I think being friends with Boston Rob has helped. I do think Boston Rob probably talked a little sense into him. And I don't think Jonathan was super far off from winning 42. And what I mean by that is I think Jonathan played a style of game that could win. I think he played with a cast that he could never win that season with. But Blake and I were talking about it because Blake jumped on for predictions and power rankings this weekend with it being Easter. He jumped on and we were talking about it. And I was saying, like, if this honor and integrity alliance is legit, if Jonathan sits at the end without any other honor and integrity people, he's not going to get D's vote. And he's not going to get Tiffany's vote, but he's probably going to get Coach's vote. He's probably going to get Joe's vote. He's probably going to get Chrissy's vote. He's probably going to get Stephanie's vote. Like, there's a lot of game left to be played, but
he's going to get Colby's vote.
I mean, he should. It's a bummer he's not. Don't bring up Colby. Don't make me hate the season. But I do feel like the way that he is positioning himself, like he's playing a game where he realizes, okay, like I need to be more in control because last time I let other people control me. And that didn't work for him. And look, you can get mad at him for being aggressive tonight, whatever you want to say. He was playing Survivor. And I think it made sense for him to go at D in the way that he did to get D riled up. And like you said, maybe it is revisionist history, but it worked. And I don't know if that's what needed to happen to get D out of the game. But at the beginning of the episode, I said, Coach Wade removed D from the game. It's probably more Jonathan who made this happen. At least that's what the edit wanted us to think, is that it was Jonathan's move, that Jonathan should get the credit for kind of putting D on her heels and getting people to start turning on D because information started flowing that was coming from D. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Jonathan's playing a really good game this season. I know that might not be really popular with a lot of the people who listen to our podcast. I know Jonathan wasn't the most popular coming in. I know he still hasn't been the most popular playing on this season, but I feel like Jonathan's playing about as well as he could be playing, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and I think we probably see him lean more in this direction. You said if he gets to the end with like no honor, integrity, I don't think we see a version of this season ending with Jonathan at the end and him not making more moves. Like, I think this is what he's told us the entire time, that he's not going to simply be an old school physical camp life player. And we're seeing signs of that. I mean, we saw him flip on his alliance last week. And I know alliance because look, he'd been blindsided and it was pretty obvious. But at least he did it. Like, it would have been easier for him to just like, all right, well, I don't want to piss off Tiffany. So, and D. So I'm just going to, ride with Camilla and Tiffany and we'll vote out Chrissy. Like that would have been the easier thing to do. It doesn't seem like Chrissy has like a number one or is close with that many people. You're probably not taking heat once you get back to camp if you do target Chrissy last week. So he did, and it's like in the trolley problem. Do you let the trolley go run over the track or did you pull the lever? I think that move counted as a lever pull. That was an active decision from Jonathan. And then tonight, I don't think it's revisionist history. Like, obviously it could be, but I think like his demeanor and the fact that it was like 2 votes ago and he kept feeling like you blindsided with me with Charlie. Was that not a lie? Was that not a lie? It's like, I think he's probably gotten over that at this point. So many other things have transpired. We've had 3 eliminations since then, which is crazy because it was like 2 days ago. But I think there's enough that's happened where that's like not top of mind, Jonathan actually being angry about the Charlie blindside, but he keeps like bringing it up just to irritate D. And so it did feel intentional and it did feel, at least like he had a motive in what he was doing. And it was very different from him just like, Lindsay, you're dumb. I don't get it. Like, stop telling me strategy. Like, it just was not, it was a different side of Jonathan. Again, I think we're going to see more of that.
Yeah, and I think it really worked. And even at Tribal Council, when D started saying like, yeah, I lied to Jonathan, and Jonathan's like, I'm the only one you lied to? Are you sure? No, of course I've told other lies. Exactly. And he wants it to be known that she has told other lies. I mean, and with Rizzo's idol and things like that, like just show that she is spilling beans. Now, look, if you're Emily Flippin, people might say, well, why isn't Emily getting the same type of heat? I mean, Emily's going and spilling about everything. Emily's the one who told D this information. Emily's not on the same level as D. Emily didn't win her season. D did. And I think that more people are thinking about D as a threat than they are about Emily. And I think that that's a big reason why people are more worried about D going around doing this stuff, because they already know that she can be more dangerous. Whereas Emily, you look at her as a 7th place finisher.
True. But I also think like D is straight up like lying through her teeth to people, whereas Emily is just spilling information and honestly is like being truthful. She's being too truthful. She's not lying enough because she's telling everybody the truth. So I think there's just like a different way where you look at that. It's like, okay, she's has loose lips, and D is just like when Rizzo says, like, yeah, Emily came up and says that, you told me, or Emily came up and I don't want a pronoun third person. Like D told Emily about Rizzo's idol. Rizzo confronts D, and D just goes, huh? What? I never said that at all. It's like, and then we get the confessional. Oops. Yep. I did tell Emily, and I told Tiffany, and I told Jonathan. So it's like she told everybody and then is telling Rizzo straight to his face, no, I didn't tell a soul about it. Rizzo found
And
out
Jonathan has flipped on you at this point. So you
Yeah,
have to believe that whatever Jonathan tells Rizzo should believe.
Yeah. And I think that could be a big reason why D ends up going home, is because she lost the trust of Rizzo. And Rizzo holds a lot of numbers. Rizzo is very close with Cirie and Ozzy. They have their little pact. But then, Rizzo's been brought in with Coach. He's now they're doing a Four Horsemen. This is Four Horsemen Part
That's
2
not good.
in
That's not
Survivor
good, Coach.
franchise. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, come on, Coach. We need an original name. Rizzo's replacing Colby. I know he's not thrilled about being a replacement, but that is the Coach Joe Jonathan Rizzo now. And so if Rizzo had this great relationship that he was forging with D, and that's where we seem to be going as of last week, or at least as of the Charlie boot, and then even in our previously on tonight, it highlighted the D and Rizzo bonding, and that was a significant relationship to Rizzo. If that had been fully intact and Rizzo fully trusted D and the secret hadn't gotten out, maybe he can talk to Coach, talk to Jonathan. Like, maybe we keep her in as a shield. Like, we can throw heat at her. Now we can make our own move. I think part of Rizzo, when the tide started turning against D, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything to save her. Like, she's already crossed me. Like, she already told 3 people about my idol. There's no reason for me to now go out of my way to keep her in the game. And I wonder if D hadn't done that, if Rizzo it fights a little bit for D. And I think other people were working with, and it kind of just was like, okay, D, you're telling.
She said it.
Yeah, she made a mistake. She made the mistake.
Yeah, she played sloppy. All right, let me read this one off to you real quick, Will. We slay dragons at tribal. We don't slay dragons at camp. That was Rizzo's line to Coach in this episode. Now, I wanted to bring that one up because first
of all, is that a haiku?
I don't know.
It sound like it. It only sounds like 2 lines.
That's an incredible line. And saying it and like kind of having a smile on his face, but then Coach is also like kind of taking it seriously. It's incredible. The reason I wanted to bring this up though is because you had mentioned Rizzo, and you had mentioned Rizzo feeling like, I don't want to be a replacement. But also, when would Rizzo have gotten into this alliance? The person that he had played with was Colby. Colby's out of the game. So like, is Rizzo overreact? I know Rizzo was on a tribe with Jonathan and stuff, but this Jonathan Coach alliance, Coach wasn't on a tribe with Rizzo at any point. So how can he really be all that hurt about replacing Colby?
I don't think he's actually heard about it. I think it's more just like kind of poking fun at Coach's sloppiness here, where Coach is like explicitly saying you're replacing the person who got voted out and kind of alluding to you are the 4th person. We need a 4th. It's like if you're ever playing pickup basketball and they've got 4 people, like we need a 5th. It's like, okay, you're not the one playing point guard calling the plays. Okay, you're there so there's a team of 5 that you can field a team and play basketball. And I think Rizzo is just like, okay, I see that I'm the fill-in right now. I'm not, this isn't my core alliance. And I think that's fine. I don't think he's actually hurt by it. I think he's just kind of making fun of the way that Coach was so nonchalantly labeling him as like the last person to join and that he's a replacement level. It's like, you don't call the understudy comes in because the lead actor is sick. You don't be like, all right, like you're the person we wanted the whole time. It's like, no, they knew they were the understudy. This isn't you can't pull one over on them. And I think Rizzo is kind of highlighting that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I think this episode was really a lot about how Coach is just a mess. Like Coach is just playing aggressively Coach Survivor. I mean, Coach
it was a 7-4 split.
It was Coach. Everything Coach said he wanted to happen happened.
And that's again why it felt a little like oh, we kind of have to have this like possibility of D, and like, should we vote out coach? And like the vote's a mess. It's hard to, I think they kind of had this thing. And it was maybe telling. I think the most confusing part to me was like, coach, like we need to split the vote 7-4, but we can't tell the people, like some people can't know that we're splitting. And it's like, well, then how does that work? Like, how do you do a vote split and you're not telling people? Like, I get the math of it. It's like, okay, we're gonna tell Christian vote to vote D, and then only the people we trust can vote Tiffany. I understand kind of the concept behind that, but at the same time, you have to then be like, okay, yeah, Christian, a robotics engineer and Survivor superfan and strategist, like, oh, he's just not gonna ever think about how the votes are gonna get split. Like, that's never gonna come up when you're putting a vote together and you have this many people voting one way. I think that's where, to me, it's like, what? Like, why do you need to hide information if you're voting as a block of 11?
Well, and it was more coach's way of saying the middle people, and then not even realizing who the middle people were. Like, I feel like coach was almost throwing that phrase around because he had heard somebody else say it. And again, it's just coach's whole story this season has been, I keep putting my foot in my mouth. I keep putting my foot in my mouth. I keep putting, and he keeps doing it. And he keeps saying, I need to not do that. And he keeps doing it time and time and time again. And coach tonight had the most confessionals out of anybody. He had 9. And a lot of those confessionals weren't coach realizing he was putting his foot in his mouth. It was just coach saying typical coach stuff. And so I agree with you here as you're talking about this. How can you do a 7-4 split, leave 3 people out? What 3 people are you leaving out? They were leaving out Tiffany, D, and who was the third they were leaving
Aubrey.
out? And Aubrey. Okay. So Tiffany, D, and Aubrey were being left out. So Christian and Rick need to know it's a split. Like, they have to know. And if they don't know, what is it? You're just telling them vote for D? Wink, wink. Like, Christian and Devins have watched Second Chance. They saw what happened to Andrew Savage. They're not going to sit here and say, oh no, let's just do an 11-3 pile-on. I agree with you. So I don't know why coach was so gung-ho about that. And also why other people in his alliance were kind of letting him do that.
Yeah, I think when you see someone take the reins, you kind of, especially when someone like coach, I think everyone's like, all right, let him do his thing. Like, this very well could be coach. Like, this could snowball very quickly into coach going home and exiting, and like, better him than me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Let's do this other super chat here. K Bonilla, I felt the way production cast 50, they wanted the best players of pre-40 and post-40. D, Kyle were the best players, in my opinion. Savannah and Rizzo had to be cast because they brought great confessionals and internet drama. This was you talking about some of the new era people. Now that we've gotten this far, 3 of the winners are gone. Rizzo's still here. Are you more okay with the way that they cast the new era people? Like Emily, the way she's been playing, all of that. Like, are you okay with what the new era is delivering or no?
No, I don't think I'll ever. I mean, I think there are too many to start with. So it's like, I would have, if we were going to do the eras, why didn't we do 8-8-8 of like, the first 20 seasons up to Heroes Villains, then 8 from 20 to 40, and then 8 new era. I think that would have been a very equitable distribution of like everyone on the show. I just don't think you need winners unless you're going to. I hear what the comment. Who said that comment? Thank you for the super chat.
That was K Bonilla. K Bonilla.
K Bonilla. Like, I get what you're saying. It's like, okay, if we're gonna make this the best of the best season, then yeah, you want your best, most hard hitting, most like biggest competitors. But then that's not really equal on the other side, because we have like, Angelina in coach. And it's like, are we really getting, like, there's no winners from the old school. Why are there 3 winners? Like, I don't think that ever made sense to me. I think you could have done like a best to never win. You could have done maybe something like that. Or I don't know. I just think it makes everyone not come in on the same playing field. And I think that's my issue with it. Not that they're not good TV, not that they're not good players, but that it brings this extra baggage in. Everyone's going to have their unique baggage, but having the win, it's like almost you're bringing in three people that are like ineligible to actually have success on this season. And to me,
Kyle probably would have had more success had he not gotten
Kyle's
injured.
not winning season 50. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, he's not. He tore his Achilles and he's out second. I don't know if you caught that.
Thanks, Phil.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like Kyle
there.
surprised a lot of people with how he came out and played early on. And I get what you're saying, but who left? Okay, think about the people who are left in the game now. Who do you think has a chance to win?
Out of everybody?
Yeah, and I'm asking you this for a reason because I feel like some of the people who are still left are people you would say there's no way they can win, but then you're like, well, who else can realistically win? Like, it feels like there's maybe 5 people left in this game who can win, and 3 of them are people before the season started. I would say no shot in hell they win the season.
I don't think Tiffany is winning.
Nope.
I don't think Jonathan's winning.
See, I disagree. I think Jonathan could win.
Maybe. I don't think Joe is winning.
I agree.
I don't think Emily's winning.
Agreed.
An Aubrey win doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, she's getting she's okay. My confessional in every episode, her and Coach still fit that. Joe got none tonight. So like, maybe this is a season where that doesn't happen. Aubrey, I feel like, is like, because of the confessional thing, I'll say she has a chance, but I don't feel like we've gotten much from Aubrey. And then she played her idol tonight, which we'll get into, but I want to get through this. I want to get through this exercise first, and then we'll talk about her idol play. So keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ozzy actually has winning upside. I think Christian and Devins are kind of sitting there as possible winners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Coach is winning.
No way.
Tonight.
Nope.
My winner pick.
Although he does have a confessional in every episode, Will.
Yeah, it's Coach. Sari is an interesting one. I think if she gets to the end, she's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Who's letting Sari get to the end? Don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Chrissy's winning.
Nope.
How many people have I not talked about?
Steph isn't winning, and then Rizzo probably, like we talked about, maybe does have a shot.
Maybe she has a shot.
And that's more of my point. Like you say,
why isn't Steph winning? Just we haven't seen enough of her.
I don't think we've seen enough of her. I think with how much they've shown the old school players, and I'm talking Colby, Coach, Ozzy, Sari. I would be surprised if Steph won. Although this was a great episode for her tonight, it was also a great episode for her because it was designed to be a great episode for her. And we're going to get into that twist and that journey and all of that stuff. It was designed to be a great episode for Steph tonight. So I'm not surprised that it was. For me, though, like what my point is we can look and say these winners never had a shot. And I agree with you. Putting 3 winners from the new era and then not putting on any of the winners pre-40 is insane, especially when you have a lot of great ones who haven't played again. Earl, Todd. They're never going to bring back Chris Doherty, but I'll always bring him up anyway. Like Vesepia, you have so many great winners who have never had another chance to play that would be interested in playing again. So I get where you're coming from, but I think what I'm getting at is maybe it is because the game has gotten so random, because there is so much uncertainty and because there is so much danger, air quotes, and I mean that super, super pathetically because I hate that. I think there's a lot of people who you would say coming into the season, no shot. And yet they are actually front runners right now. Like Jonathan, Sari, Rizzo, Ozzy, I didn't really think any of them had a shot coming into this season. And yet they're on the short list of names you would say. So it's just more of like, I understand them wanting to take the risk. I agree that you shouldn't have put 3 winners on, but I just wanted to bring that up as like the people who can win, it feels like can win right now, are not the people we were talking about preseason with winner potential.
True, and I agree to that to some extent. I would still be like, you wouldn't be surprised with Jonathan winning this season. Like, you wouldn't be like shocked.
With the way it's edited, I really wouldn't be. I really would not be. He has the one episode where he got a goose egg, but the fact that Jonathan has had, that's his only downside right now, though.
Can't win.
I just feel like he is getting he came into this week's episode with the same amount of confessionals as Coach Wade. That's insane. I don't care how many tribal councils Jonathan went to. That's insanity. And I think Jonathan, they've really focused on the story of him playing a different game. And I look at the jury and we talk about this. It depends on who you're playing with. And I look at that jury and I say, man, Steph doesn't really care about the strategy part. She's going to vote based on who she wants to win. That's probably going to be Jonathan. Like, and that's where my mind starts going. And I go, whoa, could Jonathan sit at a final tribal council with 4 votes on an 11-person jury before he even walks in the door? That's possible. And so I wouldn't be absolutely floored if Jonathan won this week. If you told me before the season Jonathan had a chance, I think I'd put him as somebody who had no shot.
I think the perception of how the players played their initial or previous seasons will come up in jury voting more than we think. And that's why I think it might be hard for Jonathan to win. Like, I don't know. It's like the people on 50, yes, they're out on a beach with him, but like, you're not getting to see this side of Jonathan. He's telling the audience, sure. And maybe he does make some more objectively gamey or more strategic moves. I just don't know if he's going to be able to sit there at Final Tribal and articulate, like, I changed, I played differently, here's all the things I've done. Like, I still think you look at Jonathan, you look, wow, that guy carried me during the tribal phase during challenges. He caught a lot of fish. Thanks for having firewood. But hey, we were playing Survivor while you were getting firewood. Like, I just don't know if he can shed that. And even if it's completely inaccurate, perception is so crucial to Survivor, especially when it comes to a jury.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm not there yet. Again, I think it would have to take something like objectively flashy and like that everyone can look to and be like, that was a big Survivor moment. Like, that was a resume builder. And I hate to say this because, like, I don't think that's how you need to play, but there's no way those jury members aren't remembering season 42 and being like, yeah, I would never vote for that guy.
But I think I think there's enough people on the season who probably don't remember season 42 and don't care that they wouldn't vote for that. Like, truthfully.
Possible.
Yeah. I want to bring up this Luke Green here. If you discount the Zach episode, you get Rick, Jonathan, and Sari back for people who can win based on the zero confessional theory. So, I mean, who knows? Zach Brown took up a lot of screen time. Rick, Jonathan, Sari. Devins was my preseason winner pick. I think he's got a little bit of an uphill battle, but I would be okay with it.
I don't know. I feel like Devins, we keep like we get enough Devins. I feel like not maybe the winner content that we're looking for, but if he like still at final 13, so like if he turns it up, I could.
This is when he started playing Survivor.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be that shocked for Devin. I would be more shocked by. I'll say this: I would be more shocked by a Jonathan win than a Devins win at this point in the season.
I think I agree with that. I do think I agree with that. Luke Green, Billy Idols are officially pointless after tonight. So let's talk about Aubrey's idol play here.
This was crazy to me. I think this is actually one of the more interesting parts of the episode, or one of the more fun things to talk about.
So it's a good thing it took us 52 minutes and 7 seconds to get there, huh?
Well, we're doing like longer bonus coverage for Survivor 50. We're celebrating the show.
Sam Phelan's on Snuffing Torches right now, and it's killing us. So we got to drag it out until Sam's off, you know? No, but truthfully, when you come and you look at this, so Aubrey didn't play the idol last week. Devins and Christian are like, what the hell? She says, it happened so fast. All right, Aubrey, you almost won wrong. You lost to the
crazy lie.
Come on, that's a bad lie. All she had to do was say, well, she played her shot in the dark. I didn't feel it was worth it for me to play it, right?
See, I was thinking this whole like, oh, she forgot to play it was kind of taking words the wrong way, where it's like, oh, it happened so fast, and like I didn't feel I needed it, and then somebody said, oh, it happened fast, she forgot to play it, and then it was like a game of telephone where it's like, I forgot, everyone's laughing, I forgot to play an idol. Like, what are we doing? It's Survivor 50, no one's gonna believe that. But then I think Sari mentions it to Aubrey, like, I forgot, really. And she goes, I know, that was dumb. And it's like, okay, so like now we've gotten it from the horse's mouth. Like, Aubrey has admitted that she completely botched this and that this was a real lie that she tried to pull, that she's like, I forgot to play my idol.
I mean, my whole thing is, this is a terrible lie. This is sloppy. This is probably
did part of you ever think that this wasn't actually a lie, that like it got kind of misconstrued?
Well, I just felt like
it was so insane.
It was so insane. And Aubrey was sloppy in Edge of Extinction, but she was also playing with first-time players. She doesn't know their game. They know her game. She's stuck with Joe Anglim. There's no way that they're going to vote out Joe Anglim in the tribal phase before her. They want to get rid of her Turner. They get rid of Aubrey. Easy. You can call her sloppy, but she didn't play her idol. That was the dumb part of that. Aubrey's not a sloppy player. Like, she didn't play sloppy in Co-Wrong, and in Game Changers, she didn't really play sloppy either. So that's where this was just so confusing to me of why she thought this would be the lie that would work. Like Tom Farrell says, was Aubrey's lie the worst lie in Survivor history? No, it's not that bad. But I was genuinely confused by it. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like,
box?
What was that?
Neutral box.
Neutral, but that's the worst one. Yeah. So
I don't
Kim
know.
and
This
Watch
might be
Me
worse. I
neutral box.
forgot to play my idol.
I just my whole thing was when the shot in the dark gets played, Aubrey could say, I didn't feel like I needed to play it. And I feel like I would have been like, Aubrey, but if that happens, we just vote for you next, maybe. Maybe then we're mad at you. Like, weren't you thinking about that? Oh, you're right. Oh, that's my bad. Like, Aubrey did a poor job of this, but I feel like she had other avenues of how to explain why she didn't play the idol, and that's why it was even worse. But then I do think by the end of the episode, she rebounds. I know some people in the comments are saying she shouldn't have played the idol, but I do think that she rebounds by the end of the episode because she plays it, and everybody's kind of happy about that. And I do think that's going to take a little bit of
vote her out.
Yeah, but is Aubrey a threat to anybody right now? I don't think so.
Not anymore, because she doesn't have an idol.
And that's what I'm saying. So now Aubrey's actually lowered her threat. She said it's like the scarlet letter. I think that she has so low of a threat level now that Aubrey goes to final 8. You know what I like? Aubrey's not going next week, no matter how this split works, because Christian and Devins will be like, okay, we'll work with you. And I don't think anybody else is as worried about her as other people.
I feel like she becomes an easy vote. No one's going to stand up to defend her. We see it all the time with bigger numbers. If you get a name and you get 2 or 3 people that are like, yeah, works for me, as long as it's not me. And she seems to me like a prime dogpile candidate. And I know we are splitting into groups, it looks like, next week. But like someone that does not have a number 1 ally is like, no, I will not write Aubrey's name down. Aubrey's name comes up, you're going, oh, hell yeah. She doesn't have her idol anymore. Like, I think this was really dumb in a lot of ways. I think it was really bad. The lie was bad. I also think like not playing an idol when everyone knows you have an idol, that's a way to kind of show that you know what's happening in the game. I think we saw Rizzo do a really good job of this last season. I knew where all the votes were going. I was confident enough that I had the correct information, that I was playing this game well enough to know that I did not need to play it. So I think holding on to it and not playing it successfully is a way, especially when you have so few allies and you're not in an alliance, it's a way for you to build up your own story as somebody who is a legitimate player in the game. If Aubrey gets to final 3 and she sits on that idol for 5 tribals and then plays it, and the one time she plays it, she has the most votes against her. Okay, now we're talking about getting some jury votes. Mm-hmm. Doing this lie and not owning that it was a good survivor move, she should have just been like, why would I waste my idol? I'm not an idiot. I didn't get the most votes. We voted Genevieve. Sorry, guys. I know it boomerangs back to you. I'm not going to give you an idol. Better luck next time. Like, own it. And then you're going every tribal council like, well, is Aubrey going to play it or not? Well, we can't vote Aubrey. She might play her idol. What if this is the night she plays it? And now you're influencing the game. You're able to have more like influence on like the actual decision making on where we putting the votes. We saw Rizzo do it last season. I think it builds up your cred. It builds up your resume. And to just completely fold where everybody's like, Aubrey, I can't believe you said you were going to play it and you didn't, and go, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Well, you better play it this time. Okay, sure. It's like she's just succumbing to the agency and will of all the other people. I think Aubrey needed to turn it up and be like, nope, sorry, guys. I didn't get a single vote tonight. Why do you play an idol without getting a single vote?
Yeah.
This is season 50. Don't just like, I don't know. I thought it was
how bad though.
I thought it was
now let's look at the other side of it. If she doesn't play it tonight, does anybody trust Aubrey moving forward?
Well, I think part of what I'm saying is that you don't need to tell everybody that you're playing it. Like you don't every tribal. I think maybe that's where the antics could get a little tiresome. And now you're just using this. It's like a magician doing the same trick up on stage. Oh, you pulled a rabbit out of the hat again. Okay, cool. I've seen that trick. Now light yourself on fire or something. Like, jeez. I don't think she needed to be like, all right, sorry guys, you're right. I should have played it. I'm going to play it tonight. My bad. I don't think you need to go there. You just say, Aubrey, you didn't play your idol. Be like, yeah, of course I didn't play my idol. Yeah. Like I didn't have enough votes against me. Why would I waste my idol? Why would I? Why would I be a dumb survivor player? Are you going to play it tonight? I don't know. If I think I'm having enough votes, I might not. Now you're a dynamic player. And now you are an like having an impact on the story of this season. Lighting yourself on fire is a common magician's trick. I don't know.
Dude, I mean,
why people are like,
jeez. I mean, no, but the way you phrased it was almost like, hey, you've done that joke too many times. Just light yourself on fire, dude. like I don't like your jokes.
No, that's
what it sounded like.
It's not the punishment for repeating the trick. You're doing that trick instead of repeating a trick.
That's not what it sounded like, though. It sounded like you were like, oh, cool. You pulled a rabbit out of a hat again. I've already seen that. Go light yourself on fire, bro. Like, okay.
Cut yourself in half, bro.
Yeah. My God. All right. So I feel like I get where you're coming from. I think Aubrey, and it's weird because, again, my little confessional thing, I'm waiting for the official confessional count to come out so that I can, by official, I mean the one that I consider official, which is just the one that goes up on Reddit as soon as
the unofficial one to come out.
Yeah, the one that goes up, and I've sit here and I wait for it relentlessly, and I don't know what takes this person so long. But when I sit here, like,
oh, come on.
Aubrey,
light yourself on fire, man. You're taking too long.
Yeah, there's a Vegas gag. So the other thing is Aubrey still has a confessional in every episode. Coach has a confessional in every episode, right? Like those are two people. I think Rizzo has a confessional in every episode. Ozzy and Christian. I think those are the only 5. Maybe Emily too. So I think 6 people have a confessional in every episode. So I sit here and I'm like, okay, Aubrey's gone to what? 2 tribal councils now. Last week was her first one. This week she goes to a tribal council. So I'm wondering why they're showing us that, because I don't feel like she has winner equity. I'm in agreement with you. Like if she had a 0, I'd be like, yeah, okay, bye, Aubrey. But then I also look and I'm like, and the reason why I don't feel like she has winner equity is she's playing so timid, I feel like. And I feel like she's still scarred from what happened to her in Edge of Extinction. I think she's feeling the burn from that still. And it's making her play more on her heels than on her toes. And like you're saying, all of these are valid arguments. Guys, it's season 50. I'm out here to win. You think I'm going to burn an idol just so you feel good about it? You guys don't even have the numbers right now. You're being considered the middle people. Genevieve called you guys the rats to get rid of before the war. I don't care what you all think. Vote for me at the end or don't vote for me at the end. I'm going to play this idol correctly later in the game to get enough votes to win whether you vote for me or not. But that was wrong, Aubrey, after her first breakdown at the beginning. The new version of Aubrey, I think she's playing with the scars. People have said in the chat and in the comments, like, is this like the season of overcoming your past survivor scars and like the negatives? And I think Aubrey,
every returning season has a little bit of that.
A little bit of that. I think Aubrey, big time though, is dealing with that. And I'm waiting for her to come over the top. And playing that idol tonight, I feel like she was in a lose-lose situation. I think that if she plays the idol, she, it comes out and it's like, well, you don't have an idol and you're an easy vote. If she doesn't play the idol, people sit there and say, I don't trust you. And I think she put herself in that position last week by offering something she didn't need to. It's kind of like you call somebody, you have like a deal for like a sale or something, or you're, in my case, I'm moving across the country. You got to make a phone call. You already know what the price of the move is. You got to call the people to tell them there's a change. You don't necessarily lead with what's the price difference going to be. You just say, hey, I have to make this change to the move. And then you wait for them to offer and say, hey, there is going to be a little bit of an increase in price because of that. Aubrey's starting off being like, hey, I know this is probably going to cost an extra $5,000. And the people are like, all right, we'll charge you $5,000 for that.
Now
yeah. And that's what it feels like for her right now. And maybe she can overcome it. Like we keep saying, there's still 13 people left in the game, probably 3 more double boots. That's a lot. So who knows what's going to happen, but I just feel like Aubrey's playing scared still. And I think that this move tonight showed a little bit more fear.
Yeah, I think, and especially it's like, if you are in a position in the game where you have you're insulated with people who trust you, people you've been voting with, people you have like a group. It doesn't need to be like, this is our final 5 alliance, but like some form of voting block that you're like, we've been working together. I like this vibe. I don't think she has any of that. Like we just haven't seen her have like a working relationship over multiple tribal councils of being like, this is what we're doing. And I know the show has swapped so many, we started, we swapped, we split, we're back, we're going to split next week. So I know that's hard to build that. When you don't have that camaraderie and that voting history, it's even more so like, I'm playing for me, I'm resting on my idol. Guess what? Someone's going to pick you up as a number. We know how Survivor works. If there are 2 competing alliances and there's people in the middle who are kind of like, out there, free agents, as we call them, it's not like no one's going to talk to Aubrey and be like, oh, Aubrey, you haven't played your idol yet, so I can't trust you. It's like, dude, of course I haven't played my idol yet. I haven't got the most votes yet. So the fact that you're coming up to me and telling me I need to play my idol when I haven't gotten the most votes tells me you don't want me to have an idol. You want me to waste my idol. That's what you're telling me. And that's what she needs to play. Have that mindset that, like, don't feel bad for misplaying an idol.
And I also
be a bad thing.
And I also want to highlight, I actually think it's really bad gameplay from Christian and Devins too, because you want her to keep that idol. Try to vote her out while she has the idol. Like, don't say, oh, Aubrey, you have to play this. You have to play this. You have to play this. Let her, you'd be like, Aubrey, you know what? It's fine. We understand there was no reason for you to play it. I wouldn't even play it. Why play it this week? You don't need to do that. Like, you want her to keep that idol so that she gets voted out and then you get the idol. Vote her out at the next tribal council. Vote her out at Final 13. If D was the obvious vote tonight, which, by the way, for anybody who's looking at the votes, 8 people voted for D. One of them was Aubrey. 4 people voted for Tiffany. D didn't vote, and then Tiffany voted for Coach. So, like, Tiffany was the only one actually left out of this vote. Now, the only relationship we've really seen Aubrey build on this season is with Tiffany. That was a lock they were talking about, but they haven't voted in a single tribal council together until this one, and they don't vote the same way. But my thing is, if you're Devins and Christian, wouldn't you want her to keep the idol? Because then if she gets through this one and she's feeling good about herself and it's, hey, we're going to split, Aubrey, we're good, no worries. Now you vote her out with the idol in her pocket, you get the idol.
Probably. And I don't know. Yeah. Don't be so, like, I don't know. It feels like they were so wrong. They're like, oh my God, I feel so wrong that you didn't play your idol when you got no votes. It's like they were, like, personally betrayed because she didn't play her idol. And maybe, Phil, that's why playing this from Aubrey, it's like, okay, this is a boomerang idol. Like, maybe I just get rid of it, because the longer I hold it, the more it's giving Devins and Christian a reason to come after me. And maybe that's why. It's like, we know how this, if this is a normal idol that everybody knows about, it's less like, I forgot to play it. And she goes, no, it's like, I think maybe she just wanted to get rid of it. We've heard this from some people, that the stresses of having one, you don't want to look like an idiot. You don't want to face that embarrassment if you are voted out and having it in your pocket, especially Aubrey. That happened to her on her last appearance, and she's just like, I don't want a repeat instance, so let me just get rid of it. But at this point, it's almost like that idol was her only ammunition to do something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't see a winning line now for her. Whereas before, at least, like, she could have made some damage happen. Okay, though, we've been on Aubrey's idol, it feels like, for 2 hours.
Well, we've been on Aubrey's idol because then we were also talking about it with Christian, and we were talking about it with Devins, and we were talking about that. I mean, look, we're going through the motions here. We're making sure that we get to everybody here.
Going through the motions, that's not a good for it. That's like, we're not.
I mean, you're going through the motions. I'm having the time of my life. You can't believe we've been there for 2 hours. So let's talk about then, because I want to get into the Stephanie thing in a second here, but let's talk about this. Is Tiffany just a sitting duck to you now, or do you think somebody's going to pick Tiffany up with D gone?
I think somebody has to, right?
I feel like they have to. I don't feel like she's the next boot.
No.
It's too easy, and there's too many people left in the game. Like, at 13, I know that there's...
I don't know. It's like, if they're... It's weird. It's like with the splitting up, it makes it, I think, more likely for Tiffany to go. But at the same time, when we see these big groups, it is, let's just go with the easy thing. It's almost like the sweet spot is like 7 to 8 people for the most interesting votes. And those seem to be the numbers we always avoid.
What about 5 or 6 or 4? Those are my favorite numbers.
Yeah. You and Jeff.
All right. Well, let's talk about Stephanie then. So Stephanie gets, they draw their shot in the dark. I determined that Stephanie is going to go over on a journey. So Stephanie goes on a journey, and she gets over there, and it's hold your arm above your head, and she can't do it. We get the, oh, my computer froze. No, it didn't. Okay. We get the conversation about Stephanie dislocating her shoulder. In Heroes Villains, we see James on season 50, which is what we all wanted. There he is, looking masculine and cool and awesome. We get Colby looking younger, and honestly, Colby has aged like a fine wine because he looks even better now. Just wanted to mention that to everybody. But we see Steph talking about that, and then we get Steph holding her arm up. Steph stands there for an hour, wins, gets a steal a vote. What comes back, and lies and says it said for a half hour, you can keep your vote. If you go the full hour, you get an advantage. I only went the half hour. I'm sure she mentioned her shoulder in there, but they cut that out of the edit because they were just going to Cirie laughing at her, which Cirie getting one of those gut giggles, man. There is nothing better in Survivor than when she just starts laughing, realizing that everybody else is wrong and they're not duping her. What did you think about this entire sequence? What did you think about the challenge? What did you think about all of it?
I like the flashbacks and getting Stephanie's full story. It's almost like Stephanie deserved this little like isolated moment. Other than that, I think this whole thing fell pretty flat. A few reasons. Look, we're merging with 17 people, and I know we got rid of 3 of them. How many times? Yeah, right. How many times have we said tonight, 14 people going to tribal council, 14 people this, 14 people that, 14 people on one beach? We're sending one person on the journey? Like, to talk to to just do you got 14
should have been
people.
A head-to-head competition.
Send 3 people. Hell, send 5. Like, get them. Like, I think the best part of Survivor, and for me, the best part of season 50 is watching Rizzo interact with Cirie, is watching Coach interact with D. Like, we're getting relationships that we don't usually get to see. And I will say, even though I didn't like last week at all, and this week we're maybe getting back, I didn't love it. The best part is just watching these characters interact. And so you're going to do an entire segment with just one person? I do not see the value in that. I do not understand why we did a solo journey with this cast of people. It made no sense to me. And that's where I feel like the creative on this was completely dropped.
I will push back a little, and it's a luck thing. Stephanie was the perfect person to have to do this journey. Perfect. Because it gave them the built-in storyline. If Stephanie doesn't do this journey, I don't know what the story is.
No, but couldn't it also have been better?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, it's not even a pushback. It's just like, wow, they really did get lucky with who went here.
They got lucky and it was still a bore, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I think it was a bore for you. I think there were probably a lot of people who are watching this season who love that segment. Like, I think there's probably a lot of Stephanie fans who absolutely loved this segment. This gave them a big flashback to maybe one of their favorites when they were growing up watching it with their kids, when they were a kid, when, they're in high school and they want to be Stephanie. I do think that there's a lot of people who probably enjoyed this, but I understand where you're coming from too, because I do feel like this could have been better. I will say, though, I'm much happier with something like this than, as St. Cliffo is saying, this beats Jenga or Tetris Topple or any of that. Like, I want more people to go to go on these journeys.
If we're going to do
that, reward challenge. Don't make it play Tetris, play Jenga, play whatever. Like, make it a Survivor style thing like this with 3 people.
Yeah, and again, I love the 70 stuff. I love the flashing back. I think that, again, that's okay. 2 things I'm loving about 50 are the relationships that we're seeing of people that we normally wouldn't get to see play together. Loving that. I love the flashbacks and like the storytelling of like, oh, these people have had this history and we're going to show that on, during the episodes proper and like actually flash back. And we're not just talking about it. Really enjoyed that. Once she starts doing it though, it's like, okay, now we're literally, what makes the normal challenge when it rains, it pours. Like, this is such a classically good challenge is the interaction between the people doing it and the bribes from Jeff. Like, that's what makes this an all-time challenge. Having one person there who can't interact with anybody or make a deal or tease or taunt or do, 99 bottles of beer on the wall. And I know that was a different challenge, but you get the sentiment of where I'm going, of like an endurance challenge. What do we get? What do we like about endurance challenges? What
James making fun of them and then it falls on them.
Sure. Any of that. Like, part of an endurance challenge is that you are doing one thing for a very long period of time and people get bored, people kill the time. Jeff comes out with bribes. It's kind of this group thing, and to have just one person do it, and Stephanie just giving us one confessional, and this was the crazy part. I'm shocked that we did not start this. Stephanie's got her arm up. Oh, excuse me, her other arm, her left arm.
Yeah, it was her left. That's why I was doing this. But this is what we watched her do. For anybody who's watching the video, this is all she did.
I'm shocked we didn't start and then go back to Camp Life.
That's what I thought was going to happen
over there, and then you can check back in on Stephanie, and then maybe we go back, and then it was so like one note for so long. It's like, I don't know. It's like, if you're going to do a journey, put more people on it. You're going to do this challenge, just make it the immunity. Let's make it one of the immunity challenges. It's already a good challenge.
Now, does this change anything though from Turgenstein? Gross Boys, baby.
Well, I think it's now this. You only do the
you can only do it. Blake's going to come in with one arm tomorrow.
I think it's a one-armed Gross Boys. I'm going to have to change the Gross Boys emoji.
I hear what you're saying with this. I mean, look, if you like Stephanie, you're probably more into this than others. If you don't really care about Stephanie, or you don't like Stephanie, or you're more into gameplay. But I do think it would have been fun if they would have cut back to camp and it would have been, what do you think Stephanie's doing over there? What do you think she has to do?
Or even show us the scene. Show scene. A full scene where we're not even, and maybe there wasn't anything good, and they're just like, it doesn't fit. And that honestly is probably it. There probably wasn't worth anything.
Not enough time.
I think there's enough time. It's like there's probably wasn't.
No, I'm saying there's not enough time on the island to build up good stuff. Like, they're doing this all in such a short amount of time.
She's probably gone for 2 hours, right?
Yeah. Well, it was an hour to do that. I don't know how long does it take to take the boat over there, read the rules, and then get back.
It's probably a 20 minute boat ride, but you got to like go through the rules, and then you got to kind of like probably something with the mic. You got to get, I don't know.
Yeah. 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. I don't know. I mean, I am okay. So let's talk about Cirie calling her out, though. I mean, Cirie calls her out right away. Nobody else really said anything. I don't think a lot of people are taking Stephanie too seriously on this season, but Cirie and Stephanie have known each other for so long. Obviously, they played the Traders together. What do you think here about this? And do you think that this is going to work in Stephanie and Cirie's favor? I mean, this is where I start to get impressed with Cirie's game, because Cirie she's wheeling and dealing information. And I feel like Cirie is like in the middle of everything right now. And that is very impressive.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've seen this a lot with Cirie. It's tough to get one by Cirie, especially if she knows you. If she's got you clocked, you're kind of toast. You kind of have to be honest. But I actually thought the lie from Stephanie was a pretty good one.
I agree.
Like, maybe her eyes were darting back and forth, and maybe Cirie has played with her enough, including their time on the Traders, where she can read Stephanie, but that doesn't mean everyone else can. And as far as like journey lies go, we've seen some pretty bad ones, or like the neutral box from Worlds Apart that we had mentioned earlier this episode. Like, this was a pretty solid lie that I could like, okay, so you can lose your vote, then you get your vote back, and then you get the advantage. So there's levels. I could see myself buying that.
And I do think that one thing that was cut from the edit, but I think Stephanie probably said, is I dislocated the shoulder. I had reconstructive surgery. I couldn't use my right shoulder, so I could only use my left. So I was just trying to get to a half hour because my shoulder is so bad. Like, I think she probably pitched that a lot more, but because the audience already knew that, they weren't going to re-share that. And really what that scene was more about was Cirie catching Stephanie in the lie. And so that's what the editors are showing us. So they're not going to show Stephanie going through all the different details of the lie, because at the end of the day, the point is Cirie caught her. That's the end of the story. I really did enjoy that segment after the challenge. I really thought that was fun with Cirie and with Steph, and Stephanie just being like, "Why are you laughing?" "I don't know. I'm just laughing." And then she's like, you just get the mouth blur from Stephanie. I don't even know what she said. And she's like, "Look, I got to steal a vote." And Cirie just goes, "Okay, great." And just goes back and he's like, "Woohoo. I won't tell anyone. Hey, Rizzo."
It's almost the same laugh Cirie had when she looked to Aubrey. It was like, "You forgot to play your idol?"
Yeah.
Oh, like she just like disarms you with this laugh of like, "Oh, that was that was not a good lie. I figured it out. I'm sorry." It's almost like she's apologizing for figuring it out. Like, "I'm sorry. I'm too good. My bad. I'm too good at Survivor. I'm Cirie."
And she's been doing it since Panama. It's amazing. It's a great thing. All right. I want to ask you, you're the challenge guy. You're the advantage guy. You think of all this stuff. Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol is officially a failure on this season. It's a failure on this season, and here's why. Nobody can have it boomerang back to them, and we're at Final 13. This is like the Secret Trader. It didn't work on this season. I don't think it means that it's a failure overall, but on this season, in this first iteration, it doesn't work now. We don't ever get to see it boomerang back. We didn't even really see any strategy around it, because by the time Genevieve got there, the two people that she could have gotten an idol back from we're over on Exile Island. She goes to a tribal where she has no shot. She had found 2 of them. So now we don't even get to see Rizzo and Ozzy's were dead there. And now we have Aubrey's out of the game. What do we see the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol again as just a Boomerang Idol? Like, do you think this is something they bring back, or do you think Jeff is like, that sucked, didn't work, moving on?
I think we're not seeing it again, especially because it's called the Billie Eilish Idol. It's so specific to season 50 in the hands of the fans. The fact that Billie Eilish, it kind of has come out that she hasn't been super excited about it. She hasn't been it's been kind of, it fell flat off camera too. It feels like. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we say it every episode, or I've said it every episode. It's the fact that there were 3 of them in the game killed it completely. Like, the whole concept of this idol is based on secrets. You can't put that. There needed to be one of these. That's it. And then the word doesn't get out. That was the issue. You needed a different idol at each beach. I've been saying that since the premiere, and I was wrong. And then episode 2 comes out. I'm like, that's weird. There's another, and then there was another, and then there was another. Were there 4? Or was it just 3?
There was just 3. But Genevieve just happened to find 2 of them.
Genevieve found 2.
The original Kahlo tribe never found it, which was definitely not the intention of the producers when that all went down. They were definitely hoping one person from each original tribe would find it so that it's mixing and matching. Genevieve finding 2, it's honestly a disaster situation for the producers, because then all it takes is her going home, and then that has no meaning.
Well, at least the person who found 2 is in a really good position, was going to last a long time in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. At least she played as well as she could have and still didn't go anywhere. I mean, I think that the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, I think the idea of it is good. I know we talked about that at the beginning of the season.
I think the idea is awesome. It's just, it only works when it's a secret. That's it.
Yeah. And that's
I wish there was more analysis. It's more like, if you put a secret-based mechanic into a game, you don't put it in so many times that it doesn't become a secret. They shot themselves in the foot.
Now, I had called it a failure at first, and it looked like you were going to push back. Are you pushing back on thinking this is a failure?
I don't think the mechanic is inherently a failure. I do think it's a really creative and fun, awesome idol mechanic that could work on a future season. But yeah, it's not. So we disagree. It's a bad idea from Shane Michael Cup. The idea itself is not bad, I don't think. I just think you can't put more than one out.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I feel like we might see it in another iteration where they call it something totally different and hope we don't realize that it's the Billie Eilish.
Well, you could just call it the Boomerang Idol and don't put Billie Eilish's name in it.
I think that's fair. I think they could do that. And I think maybe you do one of them and you try to get it back in the game. I mean, this had no impact. And instead, all it really did was hand 3 people idols, 2 of which now have idols that were handed to them, and 1 person who just played it as a throwaway. I think that's brutal.
It's sad that it was not thought out that's how, like, once you know you're not going to get a boomerang once word gets out. That's it.
Let me do these super chats. T Finch Bulldog, Coach hasn't changed at all, and I love it. Jay Burn Aquatic, my mom loves Coach, but when he started his first haiku, she put her head in her hands and said, "Oh my gosh, he's doing haikus." So glad Coach stayed. Yeah, Coach had the cringe factor going big time in this, and then we have St. Cliffo. I miss Genevieve too, Will. Will, yeah, you're starting to sound more like yourself as the podcast has gone on. That opening, man, I mean, your girl wasn't there. I mean, I felt for you. I really did.
Again, it's not that it's just it's not just a Genevieve thing. It's the whole concept was broken.
We got your rant last week. And so let's talk about this, because we're going to wrap up here. We're almost at an hour and a half, but let's talk about this so far. The big things that have happened on this season in terms of twists. Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, Blood Moon. What is there? Has there been another big twist? I know that they like swapped. We had a double boot in there, but those are things that we've seen before. Is there anything else?
I mean, yeah, we voted for a tribe. So we had the exile thing at the start with, Q.
Okay, so that exile thing with the earn your supplies and then 2 people have to stay behind and then Q ends up losing his vote. But like these big
moments, some journeys, we had the Colby lost his vote against Savannah.
What that is like new to this season though is working. Like I would watch the beginning Exile Island thing again. I would probably watch the Boomerang Idol again. Obviously, the Blood Moon is terrible, but where are you sitting on? They're taking these massive chances for season 50. They're trying to go big. They're trying to go over the top. They're trying to do something unique. They're going to try to do something that's memorable. Where are you sitting? Because I know the Blood Moon is really dragging it down, but like, are you okay with everything else that's happened? Or do you feel like that it's all just been production interference?
No, like I said, I mean, this is why I ranted so much last week. I was so high on the season. I don't think production was overstepping at all. Like, I think another thing you didn't mention, which isn't necessarily a twist, but like the Zach Brown thing was like a big, significant, like departure of what we usually see on a Survivor season. But I was fine with that. I think it made the season feel special and unique. He's a fan. It's in his hands, the fish, you know. No, I was good. And I'm still, I mean, look, Billie Eilish thing, we get to see it play out and we get to say, oh, wouldn't this be obvious that the word was going to get out? And especially all these people know each other and have relationships like off the show, even on a returning player season, more so than ever, the secret's going to get out. Isn't this obvious not to do it this way? Maybe, but we don't like, I don't know what it's, I don't have any other perspective on it. So I like the mechanic of that. I'm not going to say that's like a total game ruining failure. So no, the only bad thing has been the Blood Moon. That's like really terrible. It is like terrible. So
yeah, that's how I feel too. I mean, I know a lot of people were really low on the Zach Brown thing, and we talked about the Zach Brown thing and how the Zach Brown thing didn't really bother us, although the fishing part was kind of silly and dumb, but like whatever. It really was last week that I feel like is going to make people abandon the season. And I think it's going to happen. Maybe not in like droves, but I do think that there's going to be a good amount of people who just say, don't care, don't want to watch anymore. Like that was stupid. And I feel like we'll see what the ratings look like. Who knows? I don't really care what the ratings are. I mean, the show's going to keep going for 51 and 52. We already know that. But
you know what? No, I think the ratings do matter though. Because imagine if there was a significant drop off.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Like, do you know how much of a message that would send to Jeff?
Should we have watched? We screwed up.
Are we part of the problem because we're podcasting?
We can't turn it off. And then we have all these people watching live, and you got all these other podcasts going right now and everybody watching live. And it's like, hey, we got to tune in and watch our people. I don't know. Like, you know, we should have boycotted, Will.
Okay, next week.
I'm not boycotting.
Everybody.
Boycotting next week. I'm not boycotting next week. I feel like that's where I'm more optimistic after this. And I know that, you know, St. Cliffo says, I believe in Jimmy Fallon and Mr. Beast will make it all better. Who am I kidding? That's, I think, also what's hanging over all of our heads right now is I don't mind anything else other than the Blood Moon twist so far. Like everything else, I think Colby playing Tetris Topple to lose a vote is absolutely moronic, and I'm always going to be against losing votes, and it's stupid that Q and Colby didn't even vote on this season. Yes. But other than the Blood Moon, everything's kind of been working for me. But I think it's knowing that in the future, we're going to have Mr. Beast, we're going to have a Jimmy Fallon mention, and we don't know what those are going to be. And if those are also big and impactful in a bad way, like the Blood Moon, this season could fall off a cliff so quickly. But tonight, I felt like the ship was righted. I am more heartbroken than anybody that Colby's gone. I'm pissed that Genevieve's gone. And I'm pissed at the way it broke out. I'm pissed that Camilla's gone. I am pissed at the way that it broke out because it broke out in such a BS way. However, I feel like tonight was a nice breath of fresh air. It got us back on track. If the rest of the season was going to play out in normal fashion, we'd have a great season on our hands. But we know it's not going to. And I think that's where some of the negativity from the comments, from the chat, from whatever is coming from, is some people are just like, no, we're done with it after this because we don't trust them. And we know there are other big monumental things that are going to be happening in the future.
Yeah, but like Zach Brown didn't influence any part of the game. It was a reward.
Yeah.
So if Mr. Beast, you know, I think I've seen some theories online that it's like, okay, because he's famous for doing a coin flip to double the money, the prize for his show. You know, it went from 5 million to 10 million. Is this can we potentially double the prize pool to from 1 million to 2 million? Even, you know, we've seen 2 million before. It's not like that hasn't happened on a monumental season. And if Mr. Beast comes in and does some shenanigans at the auction to double the prize money, look, is that the first thing I want to see when we have this cast on our screens? No, but is that going to break the game and ruin my enjoyment? No, I think it'd be cool to have like one of the most popular faces in all of entertainment right now, someone who gets more eyeballs than literally anyone else on the planet, be on our favorite show and draw in some new viewers. And I'm not going to hate on that. Now, if Mr. Beast is like, I'm going to flip this coin and you either go home or you stay in the auction or your torch gets snuffed, it's like, okay, what are we doing now? Like, really, what are we doing? So the inherent like idea of bringing in celebrities does not bother me. It's totally contextual on what they end up doing when they get there. Jimmy Fallon, I look, I know we've heard his name, but man, like if he went to Fiji and was in the show, wouldn't that have been in the Super Tease? Like, wouldn't we have had a shot with like Jeff and Jimmy?
Seems like it's the Billie Eilish
and
thing.
You get Jimmy Fallon's laugh going, oh, and he's just laughing with Jeff. I think there's some note or letter or advantage. This is the Jimmy Fallon X advantage. And look, the Billie Eilish one we've talked about, it was a pretty good idea. So no, that stuff I'm not looking down and being like, oh, the season is in utter peril. Like we're screwed here. I'm more like, after what happened last week, I'm not sure this season's recovering from what's happened. I'm not really worried about what's going to happen.
Blue Box Kirby, Mr. B said on our app that it isn't about him. And then St. Cliffo says, imagine the coin flip doesn't double the prize pool and he's just totally pointless. Comes out, flips the coin. Didn't work. See you later. I think though, like the problem that Survivor's running into is in episode 4 or whatever it was with Zach Brown, they lost a lot of the fan base, a lot of trust from the fan base because the fan base was really annoyed by that. And there's a big portion of the fan base that is just going to tune in, watch it. They're watching casually. They don't care. But there's a big portion of the fan base that was very aggravated by that. So you lost that portion. And then I think you lost a totally different portion last week with the Blood Moon. And now those two have kind of combined and you've lost these two different portions of the fan base who don't trust you at this point. And now you turn around and you say, hey, Mr. Beast and Jimmy Fallon are coming up. And people go, well, I don't like that because we didn't like the Zach Brown thing. And then we don't like the Blood Moon. So who knows what stupid twist is going to be in there, or how much screen time they're going to take up or whatever it is. And so that's what's been, I think that's what's hanging over people's heads. And I think, Survivor's got to do some positive PR. It can't just be Jeff constantly going on Entertainment Weekly or Parade or whatever magazine or whatever it is, whatever publication saying, oh, I love this. This was the best. Like Jeff, it can't just be Jeff saying it's the best all the time. Like there needs to be more to it. Because, this is in the hands of the fans, but the fans aren't super positive. So I don't know.
Yeah, but like, was the Zach Brown thing that much? Like, did the ratings dip?
No, actually, the ratings went. The ratings were higher that episode, not by much, but I think it was the highest of the episode other than premiere.
The Zach Brown one?
I think so.
Or the one after it? Because I'm saying,
I think the Zach Brown one. Let me see. If my internet dies here, you just keep talking. But
no, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if the super fan online base is loud enough or impactful enough to really get we've seen it happen before in some very small instances, but I don't know. And do you think, Phil, the backlash against Zach Brown was louder or larger than the backlash against the Blood Moon? Because for me, one of them is like a silly segment that's like, yeah, probably didn't need to see it. And the other is like game and season destroying. Like they're not even in the same camp to me.
Yeah. And then like Blue Box Kirby says, wasn't it the worst rated episode in the show's history? Like, yeah, on IMDb by a bunch of people who went and gave it ones. Like who, like, I don't care.
But like, IMDb ratings don't hold any actual weight for like advertising dollars or like tangible. They don't matter.
Or like how much people are enjoying the season. Like that's a niche market of an already niche market.
Yeah. And did the Blood Moon get hit as hard on IMDb?
So here's what it is. I don't know about IMDb, but so Did You Vote for a Swap had 4.88 million viewers. Knife to the Heart, which is the Zach Brown episode, was 5.22. Open Wounds dropped to 5.1. Blood Moon was 5. And we don't know obviously what tonight is, but so, it went up. And is it going up because of Zach Brown, or is it up and then dropping because of Zach Brown, or is it dropping because Zach Brown's not there? Like, did Zach Brown actually bring in more viewers for the show? I don't know. It went up by 0.334 million.
3.4 million is a
0.34 million. 0.34 million.
0.34 million.
Which is still good though. I mean, 0.5 would be a 10% increase.
So yeah, Knife to the Heart is 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb. And just for context, so the premiere was 9 out of 10. Episode 2, 8.5. Episode 3, 8. Episode 4, the Zach Brown episode, 3.7.
Nice.
And then Open Wounds, 7.8. And then Blood Moon, 4.9. So more people didn't like the Zach Brown than they liked the Blood Moon. So it's like even our like online base can't agree which is worse. Because to me, the Blood Moon is like 100 times worse than the Zach Brown thing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So like we can't even agree how to properly review bomb which episode. So there's not gonna be any successful.
And the review bombing on IMDb, like for everybody who wants to go and do that, more power to you. That does nothing. Nobody, like the review bombing on IMDb, people like it doesn't matter. IMDb does not matter to Jeff Probst. Is not looking at IMDb going, oh man, what are we gonna do now? Like no one cares. No one cares. And nobody, honestly, for reality TV, for a show like Survivor, nobody's looking at IMDb to determine whether or not they're going to watch the season or watch the episode. Like that might work for a scripted TV show that you're trying to find out in the first season, or it's always fun, like with older shows like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Lost. What are the highest rated episodes? But that's not moving the needle in any way, shape, or form for Survivor. It's never mattered.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think for scripted TV, it's like way more interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me do these prop bets real quick. So who will say Jeff? That was Aubrey, Sari, D, Joe, Jonathan, Ozzy, and Rizzo. Who won immunity? That was Ozzy. Who won't be asked a question by Jeff at Tribal Council? Oh, I did it backwards. I have to fix that one. I put in who did get asked a question, so I need to go back and change that. Who will get the first confessional of the episode? That was Tiffany. Who will say the Blood Moon? D, Emily, and Devin. Who will mention a player on the season that is no longer in the game? Aubrey, Christian, Sari, Coach, D, Jonathan, Rick, Rizzo, and Tiffany. Who will cast the deciding vote this week? That was Chrissy. Who will have the most confessionals? That was Coach. Episode title was Coach. Mouth blurred was Coach D, Emily, Rick, Stephanie, and Tiffany. And then in terms of the people who weren't asked a question at Tribal Council, the people who were Chrissy, Coach D, Emily, Joe, Jonathan, Rick, and Rizzo. So whoever I didn't mention there, those are the people who weren't asked.
I'm taking Joe for that prop bet every time if I'm playing along, because Joe is going to get asked a question and then the show is just going to dunk on him.
Yeah, and that's the funny. Well, it's who won't be asked a question.
Oh, it's who won't be. I thought it's who will be.
Well, that's what I messed up and accidentally did do. Who will be? So I'm going to fix this now. But
okay, well then don't put Joe as your answer.
Yeah, don't ever put Joe as your answer for that one, everybody. Tomorrow night, Blake and I are going live at 7:30 p.m. Will, you ready for the most random one you've ever heard?
I think
Mikey
I saw it.
Mikey
B. There we
Survivor
go.
Micronesia. Yeah, he's got Watertown whiskey going. He's excited. He's still a huge fan of Survivor. He's pumped with Ozzy and Sari playing.
We still have, to say we still have Micronesia representation.
Good
players.
I'm excited. So we got Mikey B tomorrow at 7:30. That'll be with Blake and I. On Friday, John and McKenna doing the rewind. I will be live this weekend at some point with Adam Klein. I'm sure Will's going to set his alarm clock for that one and then not show up. We don't know when it's going to be.
Well, when is it? Actually, this weekend is like the first weekend in a while where I'm not like traveling or like.
I thought you were going to say where you're not available because you've been so available all the other weekends.
No. I mean, last Sunday was Easter. The weekend before that, I was at a wedding, and then the weekend before that was March Madness. So weekend one.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss that.
It's been tough. I'm gonna. What time is it on Sunday?
We actually have no idea yet. Adam and I have been texting back and forth. He's gonna let me know, so I'll let you know because when the three of us get together, it's always a good time. But he really does not know yet, so it will be this weekend though. Adam will be on a podcast doing predictions and power rankings.
I think I'm gonna make the Adam one. I'm pretty confident in it.
More confident you're gonna do that or Blood Moon ruin this season?
I mean, you can't be more confident than Blood Moon. Or
Okay, I'm just
not
testing,
possible.
just testing. And then on what is it, Monday? All right, it's on Tuesday. Tegwith is going to be live with Franny for Matt Chat, and I got Gordon Holmes on Monday for the predictions episode. So we got a lot going on this week. As always, it's middle of season 50. I mean, we are cooking. Easter's behind. March Madness is behind. Australian Survivor's only got 1 week left. Life is about to be all about Survivor 50 and the home stretch and whether or not it's going to be good or not. So, Will, you got anything else you want to end this with, or are you good?
Just text me when the Adam thing is.
Okay, so, like, I'm going to.
You never actually, for everyone saying Will never show, Phil never is like, hey man, we're gonna do this then, or now I have a time. It's never any effort on Phil's part to get me on the prediction podcast. So I want to do it. I'm
all
loving
right,
the season. So
hold on. If we can make that work. All right. You have now a group message with me and Adam. Hey, so Will wants to be on too if we can make that work. So there you go. Now you have no excuse because Adam is only going to respond right there. So everybody has heard that if you made it to an hour and 40 minutes, if Will is not on this weekend, it's either because Will doesn't ever check group messages or it's because Will miraculously had something pop up on a Saturday.
I'm notoriously bad at group messages.
Yes. So anyway, that's it. Thank you all so much for listening. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, at least us talking about it, whether you were on Will's side or my side about how the episode went. At least it was a Survivor conversation to be had this week, rather than just like a rant about this is dumb. Like at least there was something to hold on to here.
Hey, the rant had merit, okay?
Oh, it had merit. There is no doubt about it. It had merit. I was bummed I couldn't be on that one because then when I got on with Bryce and Blake the next night, like Blake was already worn out from doing it. And Bryce, being a positive guy, being a mature adult who can actually like be positive about things. And I was like, man, I want to go in on this so bad. But Peridium and I did a little bit last night. So that's good. But thank you all for listening. Appreciate the support. And we will see you. I'll see you tomorrow night with Mikey B and Blake. Bye, everybody.
See ya on Sunday.